Today we're going to be reading from this book, that said, to all free and accepted Masons on the face of the globe. What if you're not on the face of the globe? What if you're inside? 1927, the Ahiman Rezon Book of Constitutions, the Grand Lodge of Ancient Freemasons of South Kakalaki, with a system of monitorial instruction adapted to the work as practice in that jurisdiction under the Grand Lodge authority. Good. To the most worshipful Grand Lodge of Ancient Freemasons, South Carolina, which I may or may not have previously pronounced Kakalaki. Now, Ancient Freemasons of South Carolina. How old would you have to be in 1927 to be considered ancient? Originally edited by this feller, revised by that fella, so on and so forth. So we got some chapters here. What's that say? Belief is God. You know what? What's that say? Page 84? I gotta turn to that page right off the bat, because that really piqued my interest right there. All right. Belief in God. Okay, belief in God. This constitutes the sole creed of a Mason, at least the only creed that he is required to profess. But work as a profession is essentially and absolutely necessary, because without a belief in a superintending power, with the inevitable deduction from the purity and holiness of such a being, that sin will be punished and virtue rewarded, there would be no sanction to a moral law, for the atheist would have no motive to keep a promise or to preserve an obligation. Okay, I got you. So in other words, what they're telling you right here, I'm going to adjust this camera real quick. Oh, that's maybe a little bit better. What they're telling you right here is that it's necessary to cultivate a belief in God, not because God exists, or that God is a fact, or that God can be certified, but simply because, without fear of sanction or being punished, what's to stop people from doing whatever the hell they want to do? So that's pretty much right in front of your face. That was pretty funny. Let's go back to the contents. There's a lot of stuff in this book. What I wanted to do, here, first word, first chapter, sanction. Nice. Because I wanted to show you some of the artwork of the book. Trust in God. Now, looking at that, the way it stands, it looks like trust is a pronoun, in is a pronoun, and God is a pronoun. The reason why I say that is because it's centered. In has an excessive spacing around it. Consequently, you could fit in God on the same line if you wanted to, but it's also in a box, so it doesn't matter. It could also be syntaxed if you overlook the centering pronoun adverb verb. Enter the parentheses first and second sections. The apron must be lambskin. Because, you're all lambs and eventually everybody gets slaughtered. Enter the parentheses third section. Enter the parentheses third section. Still. Interesting. I'm just kind of looking at this with you. I'm not offering too much because I prefer others to get their own impressions and perceptions. What I'm basically here to do is to try and keep an open mind with all of you while looking at this. Although I have been studying this for many, many, many years, and I do have ideas and knowledge as to what these symbols, everything means. The globes, the pillars, the staircase, the curtain, the floor pattern, every single thing holds some sort of meaning. As you can see, they took it apart right here to explain some things. Master Mason. That's I'm pretty sure those are the first things you're given as a Mason, is a gavel and a square. What is that? A city under construction, huh? Overseers. You know what an overseer is, don't you? Hey. Bees. Okay, so this ends our pictorial look at this book. Do you like my candle? This book, I'm going to be looking at this book as well, and this other book. Eventually, I'm going to start a YouTube playlist and just call it The Readings or something like that, and read from books like that, so that you too can share in some of the cool stuff that I've found in my travels as a quasi Indiana Jones, and some of my knowledge. I mean, I'm not going to get into specifics and things like that too much because I don't like to get into speculation. I find Freemasonry a fascinating subject, one that I, of course, don't have closure on, which is basically all opinions because, number one, most importantly, I am not a member, nor do I have any wish to be a member. However, I am aware of their reach and their influence all over the earth. And so I think it's a good idea. You know, it would behoove someone who wants to have all the knowledge they can about navigating through the sea of space to know who's in charge or who pulls the strings with most of the governments and political and legal structures on the planet. And this is one way to do that. And I'm sharing that journey with you, some of it, of course, looking at it through the lens of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar. Now, it's always good to gather knowledge and to store knowledge, especially if it's practical knowledge. If one would learn correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, one would find that while it's good to store and have knowledge, it's not necessary to learn all the knowledge of the fiction system. Because as long as you use basic grammar, i.e. correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, logic, and rhetoric, one can pretty much safely navigate through any sea of space in any situation at any given moment in the continuum. This is the first video of many that I will be doing. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.